Okay. Hello, everybody. So great to see you all. My name is Deb Matthews. I spent I spent 15 happy years in the Ontario Legislature, and much of it working with Kareem. And I have just one message for you. You have an outstanding candidate, like not just a really good candidate, an outstanding candidate. He's as good as they get. I've seen lots of politicians, and Kareem is like the best. So politics really matters. It really matters who you elect to government, because some people get things done. Some people bring a perspective. They know exactly what they want to do when they get there. Kareem knows what his values are. They are strong liberal values. He knows how he wants to make Ontario better and how to make the lives of people in Ontario better. So my one message to you is, let's get him elected. We have 62 days before Election Day. I'm asking you all to put the rest of your life on hold for 62 days. You can just kind of not go to work and not do all those things you're supposed to. Just focus on the campaign, because having Kareem as a candidate is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to elect somebody who will make a tremendous difference. So thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for supporting Kareem. And now we just got to work really hard, get to the finish line. This election, in my mind, Doug Ford has proven that he is incompetent. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He has proven that he does not deserve a second term. We know that. We also know, I'm so happy to see Nadia here. We're running a really, really strong team of candidates, Like Queen's Park will just be taken by surprise when they see the new crop of candidates walk in. It's going to be fantastic. So let's all work, do our very best, give money if you can, ask people to give money, knock on doors, make phone calls, do everything you have to do. We need to give Kareem the very best campaign possible, because he's going to make a big, big difference for all of us. So thank you for having me here. Thank you for being here. It's just a real joy. Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. Deb has been such a paragon for our party and of good government and good public policy, something that I see every time I knock on the door of a public servant in this riding. And might have heard that Deb Matthews was a supporter of this campaign, and you can't get better public policy than Deb Matthews, so thank you so much. Good government are words that are sadly in a bit of short supply here in Ontario these days. The memory of Deb Matthews and her government and the government that I worked with has been replaced by a government that is more about neglect and damage. Neglect of our families and our public school system, leaving families isolated and alone, feeling like they had to help fend for themselves. Damage to my students, some of whom are here today, who were reliant on a student financial aid program that got pulled from under them, and all the promise that they had with that program taken away, a program that Deb Matthews as minister helped bring in. And yet, we're here. What happens when someone or people are neglected or damaged? They curl up, they retreat sometimes, or they lash out. And we're here. You've chosen in this moment to not lash out, to not curl up, but to stand for something, to stand for action. And who are we who are here today? Some of you have a connection to me in my life, whether it's Ryerson or government or students. The former journalists in my life are surprisingly not here today, or the current journalists. Some of you are champions of strong liberal values, associated with the strong progressive liberalism of Arif Virani, who we heard from earlier. Kimberly Wakefield is here, who was part of a very strong campaign for the nomination. I want to say thank you for coming today, Kimberly. Others are, many of us are parents with young children who feel that strong protective instinct and a good share of anger at what's happened in the last few years. But I guess we're all united by this desire to act in the face of the neglect and damage. Desire to act, which for me and for us, I believe, are three actions, really. Well, the first action is actually to go knock on doors, but I'll speak to that later. Three actions in the face of neglect and damage. The actions are to attend, to heal, and to repair. And we need to do a lot of attending, a lot of listening, a lot of healing, a lot of repair in this province. So first, the pandemic, which continues to rage on, and any act of attention would show that this meant that we had a healthcare system that needed desperately reinvestment, that we needed a province that was truly attentive to what's happening with the sixth wave of the pandemic, and yet we don't have that. What about our young learners? What about in our education system? Any learner out there? Well, any act of attention would show that we've got classes that are overstuffed, schools that are dangerous, teachers and families who feel abandoned. Any act of attention would show that there are people who need attention, support, and healing. And just to get to the bottom of what an election is about, public policies that are going to not only attend but heal and repair, I think we have some offerings. I think Ontario Liberals have some very strong offerings for our youngest learners, for any learner. Hard class size cap of 20, a childcare rebate to make up for the inattention of the Ford government. Hopefully a return to the strong financial aid regime that we had before, so that schooling is an opportunity and not an opportunity just to have more debt. And paid sick leave, permanent paid sick leave, and a higher minimum wage for our younger workers. So many of whom, when I heard from them last year, inspired me to run. What would attention, healing, and repair look like for our climate, for our planet, for this beautiful riding which has the park at the center, the lake, and the Humber, these blessed national resources? Well, any act of attention, I think, would have us see that this is part of a unified whole, that any public policy, any government that's looking at policy for the pursuit of the planet recognizes that these things are tied together. Any act of attention would have you see that once you just dig a little bit past the busy lives of anyone in this riding, anyone in this room, that very quickly you come to the concerns around climate. And that it doesn't matter your age, where you live in the riding, what ethnic group you might be part of, that the concern for the planet, for our natural heritage, is paramount. Any act of healing and repair is going to bring policies that respond. Policies like, hopefully, better public transit invested in, policies that have us honor and exceed our Paris commitments, policies that make us proud to be Ontario Liberals that would have the greenest plan for the province. And what about the physical spaces? So we've talked about our learners, I've talked about our learners, our young people, talked about the climate and the planet. What about the physical spaces where we live? What would an act of attention, healing, and repair be? Well, any act of attention would have you see that and hear that everywhere in this riding, no matter what your economic condition, the concern for housing, the concern for a decent place to live is paramount, and that everyone in this riding is concerned about what that might look like going forward. Renters who are being often at the mercy of landlords who don't have the renters who don't have the sufficient protection, renters who need cheaper rent, people who own a house who are just getting by, people who own a house and have kids and wonder where are those kids going to live. Can they live in this beautiful community? Are they going to have to move to Hamilton, which is great? Are they going to have to move to Tillsonburg? And Tillsonburg, my back breaks when I hear that word. I want them to live here. And that any act of healing and repair is going to mean some public policies that are going to really prioritize that. And maybe you followed the Doug Ford announcement earlier this week. Completely insufficient. Shameful. To take on the housing crisis that we have in this riding or in this province. We're going to have to be mindful of the need to bring in more neighbors into our community and to do that honorably and respectfully, but in a way that is truly welcoming and welcomes the energy that new neighbors have always brought to any community that comes here. That's what an act of healing and repair would bring. We did a canvas the other day in Warren Park, and I knocked on the door. It was the last door of the day. And there was a woman who came out. She's on Ontario Disability Support, so I'm guessing her income is $1,189 a month. She pays $750 a month in rent. She asked me, if I vote for you, will you give me a cheaper place to live? And she also told me that she just wants to take her son out for something nice, just once. This is what it means to be a Liberal in this riding, to be encountering those kinds of stories and have a action, having healing and repair. So there, I listened, I attended, but to bring healing and repair, you're going to have to send me to Queen's Park. Because we don't have time to deal with some of these overlapping crises. We don't have time for well-meaning, principled opposition that doesn't get results, that we've now had in this riding for 19 years. We need to attend. And that means you need to attend. And we need to attend collectively. I'm so honored that we have attending with us today candidates from York South-Weston, Nadia Guerrera, and Davenport, Jerry Levitan. Thank you for coming. And they're part of an Ontario Liberal team. They're part of an Ontario Liberal team who are going to be bringing positive offerings, bringing their energy and their enthusiasm across the province to this riding, to the city, to this community. And that means a positive act of attention. And Andrea Barrick, sorry, I just see Andrea has come, Andrea Barrick in University of Rosedale. Your acts of attention mean listening. Many people are despairing for our democracy right now. It's also true at the doors that I'm knocking on, especially in this riding. Again, we can retreat, we can lash out, or we can attend, heal, and repair. And every action that you take, however uncomfortable it is an act of healing, an act of attending, and hopefully an act of repair. So we've got sign-up sheets at the back to join canvases. We've got an E-Day poster to sign up for. We've got a request that you give money so that we can continue to serve these lovingly prepared snacks that Mary Ng and others, and Nadia McNairn, Phyllis Fury, Anne Elizabeth Sampson, Tamar Heisler, my campaign manager, McLean DeWeaver, and others have been working on, Susan Adek have been working on this entire afternoon. We need your acts of attention in the next 62 days. There's so much fear out there that this democratic activity that you're participating in, for all the reasons that I've articulated and your own reasons, they'll renew us. One of the people in this room is a student who I hadn't met until we hadn't met each other. There's Rose Abo in the back there. Rose is from Bobcaygeon, has just moved to Bobcaygeon. We met for the first time an hour ago. And Rose will tell her story about why she's in Bobcaygeon, not in Toronto, another time. But it's a reminder that we can come together as a community around these shared values to get something done for our community, for Parkdale High Park, for all the very different pieces of Parkdale High Park that feel different from each other, but actually are commonly bound by these challenges and really looking for, I believe, Ontario Liberal solutions. So thank you very much. We'll be leading a canvas from the back at 5:45. Before you leave, please get a button, please sign up, and be part of this movement in the next 62 days. Thanks very much. Before I give up the microphone, I spoke to some of the folks who helped put on this event. That includes Luc Villemer, Ben, and Luke's, you'll have to remind me your name. Emmerich. We've got Jen Tomney, who provided essential support. I also want to, and I don't know if they want to come up, but my family is here. Jasmine, Rachel, and Patrick are here. They're VIPs at events and usually put on a little thing, but you'll see hopefully how VIP they are to me and we are to each other. So please enjoy their company in this strange circumstance that we're in for the next 62 days and hopefully next 4 years. Thanks.